Capitol. Hitherto very discreet since his departure from the White House, the 45th President of the United States thus declares open war with this fine strategist who has long been his ally, an emblematic divorce from the divisions which are now tearing Republicans apart. Mitch is a sullen politician who never smiles, and if Republican senators stay with him they won't win anymore, the ex-president wrote in a scathing statement. The Republican Party can never be respected or strong with political leaders like Mitch McConnell at the helm, he insists. Now, his figures in the polls are even lower than ever before. He is destroying the Republican side of the Senate and at the same time, doing terribly harm to our country, says Donald Trump. Mitch McConnell, 78, voted on Saturday to acquit the billionaire Republican in his Senate trial, saying the upper house was not competent to try him. But in the process, he declared him in fact and morally responsible for the assault on Capitol Hill that left 5 people dead. The writers did so because the most powerful man on the planet had fed them lies, refusing his defeat in the November 3rd presidential election, he said. He had, in the same gloomy speech, taken care to stress that Donald Trump, now a simple citizen, could still be prosecuted. He is still responsible for everything he did while in office. He hasn't escaped anything at all yet, he said. Senators were a majority, 57 out of 100, vote for the billionaire's conviction, including notably 7 Republicans. But it would have taken 2/3 of the upper house, 67 votes, to reach a guilty verdict, which could have been followed by an ineligibility sentence from Donald Trump. Federal complaint against Trump for the events on Capitol Hill. Washington, an elected Democrat in the United States Congress filed a complaint on Tuesday against former President Donald Trump, his lawyer Rudy Giuliani, and 2 far-right groups he accuses of having instigated the assault on the Capitol on January 6. Benny Thompson, who chairs the Committee on Homeland Security in the House of Representatives, alleges in his complaint the violation of a law passed in 1871 to fight against the Ku Klux Klan. This is the latest move to hold Donald Trump responsible for the January 6 violence, which erupted after one of his speeches and after weeks of claims without evidence that the election won by Joe Biden had been rigged. The Senate on Saturday acquitted the former U.S. president in this case after the second trial for impeachment of his mandate. The federal lawsuit points to 2 far-right groups that have displayed unwavering support for Donald Trump, Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers. The insurgency was the result of a cleverly orchestrated plan by Trump, Giuliani, and extremist groups like the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys, all of which had the objective of using intimidation, harassment, and threats to prevent the certification of Joe Biden's election by the Electoral College, Benny Thompson accuses in a press release. Donald Trump's advisor, Jason Miller, dismissed the charges, referring to his acquittal by the Senate. Headlines in the United States: a commission to investigate January 6. 2 days after Donald Trump's acquittal, the events of January 6 on Capitol Hill continue to agitate the political sphere in the United States. On Monday, February 15, the leader of the Democratic majority in the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, announced the future creation of an independent commission, the Washington Post reports. She will be tasked with investigating what led a mob to storm the temple of American democracy. A commission similar to that which studied the attacks of September 11, 2001 for 15 months, details the Washington Post. An initiative that would have the support of some of the Republican elected officials, explains the Daily. Even Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who voted in favor of Trump's acquittal, supports it. Many questions remain unanswered, and elected officials hope that with this commission, all the light will be shed. Unprecedented cold wave in the United States. A winter storm that has affected 25 states and has already claimed several lives, reports USA Today 10, according to AFP. More than 150 million Americans live in a place where severe cold weather, freezing rain or snowstorm vigilance plans have been put in place. The NWS, the National Weather Service, announced this Tuesday, February 16. A storm that stretches over 3,000 kilometers, stretching from Texas to Maine. Today, more than 4 million Texans are without power. Hundreds of local negative temperature records have been broken, also details the Daily. A storm that also poses logistical problems in the vaccination campaign, explains in another USA Today article. Problems in terms of delivery, especially for Florida and Texas, but also problems of conservation because of the power cuts, knowing that the vaccines must be stored at very low temperature. A situation which is likely to last since this polar cold should last a few more days, warns the newspaper. 5 million Mexicans without electricity. Mega apagón, headlines a large part of the Mexican press on Tuesday, February 16. Since then, over 24 hours of massive power cuts have hit the north of the country. Blackouts that may still last, warns Mexico's National Energy Control Center on the pages of El Universal. These cuts mainly affect the north of the country, but even the city of Puebla is concerned. According to the Federal Electricity Commission, these cuts are mainly due to an increase in energy demand in the United States. Knowing that the two countries are interconnected when it comes to electricity and gas, Milenio explains. The authorities hope for a quick return to normal. At present, 55% of the affected households have electricity again. According to Milenio, Colombia receives first doses of vaccine. A country that can breathe, but that is not going to celebrate this announcement, explains in Un al Espectador. Yesterday, 50,000 doses of the vaccine developed by Pfizer, BioNTech were delivered and received with honor since President Ivan Duque and a whole crowd of officials were present on the tarmac. Speeches, music, flags, all followed by the television channels detail the daily life. A historic moment, according to the Colombian president. El Espectador tempers this enthusiasm. It is not the vaccines that will save lives, but the mass vaccination campaign that must be implemented. And here, Colombia is behind schedule, estimates the newspaper, which compares in particular the vaccination campaign carried out with beating pace in Chile with the slowness observed in Colombia. According to El Tiempo, a nurse, Veronica Luz Machado Torres, will be the first person vaccinated in Colombia this Wednesday, February 17th. According to the plan put in place by the authorities, the goal is to vaccinate 35 million Colombians by the end of the year, that is to say 70% of the population. The deployment of this campaign will be gradual, according to Ivan Duque. For example, Bogotá and Medellín will not begin their vaccination campaign until Thursday. Ultra-low temperature freezers have been deployed across the country and, like in many other countries, health workers will be the first to be vaccinated. An application will also be set up, announces Semana, which will allow Colombians to know when they can receive a first dose of the vaccine. Death of Johnny Pacheco, father of salsa. Musician, composer and producer Johnny Pacheco, who was born in 1935 in the Dominican Republic, died at the age of 85 this Monday in New York. He was the one who notably founded the Fania Records label, a record company that has allowed salsa to take on its full dimension, details the New York Times, and that has allowed stars such as Celia Cruz, Willie Colon or Ruben Blades to shine. Unparalleled flutist and percussionist, he is at the origin of the supergroup Fania All Stars. Thank you for your heritage, can we read in the pages of the Dominican daily Diario Libre this Tuesday, which details the many tributes paid to him after the announcement of his death because, as El Liston Diario recalls, Johnny Pacheco is certainly at the origin of the development of Latin music in the world.